I became the biggest joke in the entire underworld just 3 days after becoming a ghost officer. My wife, who was still alive in the human world, sealed off an entire city just to burn paper money for me. Stacks of spirit currency piled up like mountains. At the same time, Matthew pointed at my nose and cursed, "Useless trash. Take care of your own wife." Until that day, the king of hell himself appeared. He clasped his hands nervously and handed me a cigarette. Then, trembling, he asked, "Brother Mo, the underworld's finances are running dry. Do you think you could lend us some money first?" The entire underworld fell completely silent. My name is Shen Mo. I had been dead for 3 days. The reason I died was simple. A child suddenly ran across the road. A runaway truck lost control and slammed into me, sending me flying. Maybe because my death happened so suddenly. I never drank Mung Po's soup. I never entered the reincarnation passage either. Instead, I reported to the Ghost Gate registration office and somehow received a job. Naihei Bridge Western District Patrol Division, 7th rank ghost officer. To put it simply, I was responsible for managing an area filled with wandering spirits, making sure they didn't cause trouble. The job itself was actually pretty easy, but the workplace relationships, they were hell. Yo, Shen Mo came to collect his salary again. A sharp-faced, monkey-like guy was already leaning beside the counter. His name was Matthew, my co-worker, a ghost who had died decades before me. I ignored him completely. I walked straight to the judge in charge of distributing salaries and handed over my waist badge. The judge glanced at me. Then he opened the drawer, counted out 10 spirit bills, and threw them onto the table. I frowned. "Judge Shang, did you make a mistake? A newly appointed ghost officer's monthly salary should be 100 spirit bills, right?" The judge didn't even bother looking at me. "That's correct, but yours is being deducted this month." Why? He looked like he had just heard the funniest joke in the world. Then he pointed behind me. "You should take a look yourself." I turned around. Behind me were dozens of huge sacks. They filled up an entire corner of Fenglu Temple. Each sack had 2 large characters written on it with cinnabar. Shenmo. The moment the sack openings loosened, colorful spirit bills spilled out like trash, overflowing from garbage bags. Matthew walked over with a mocking smile. "What? Not gonna lie, your wife is seriously too generous. Ever since you became a ghost officer, she's been burning paper money every single day, morning, noon, and night. Look at this. If someone didn't know better, they'd think you opened your own underworld bank down here." The surrounding ghost officers immediately burst into laughter. Yesterday, the traffic on the Bridge of Helplessness was completely jammed. It was because the paper money his wife earned was so massive that it blocked the Wangchuan River. I heard even Meng Po was about to go crazy. She barely had space left to cook her soup. My face turned pale, then dark. "Lin Qingshui, what are you doing?" "My wife, Lin Qingshui, a woman as gentle as flowing water. We had only been married for 1 year. I promised I would take her around the world, but now I was already dead. I could imagine how devastated she must have been. I knew losing me must have shattered her world. But this way of burning paper money, it was a little too extreme." Matthew saw me staying silent. The smile on his face grew even wider. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a stack of brand new spirit bills. A full 100 sheets. He deliberately waved them in front of me. "See? This is what a normal salary looks like." He slapped the spirit money onto Judge Zhang Pan's desk. Then he casually pulled out 1 bill and handed it over. "Brother Zhang, you've worked hard. Take this and get yourself some tea." The next second, Zhang Pan's attitude completely changed. He put on a flattering smile. "Brother Ma, you're too kind." Matthew enjoyed the attention from everyone around him. He raised his chin and looked at me. "Shen Mo, being a ghost is no different from being human. You need to know how to read the situation. Your wife earned so much money that the entire underworld has been thrown into chaos. If the higher-ups blame us, can you take responsibility? Besides, all that money you received is illegal property. It's temporarily frozen. When your wife stops burning money, only then will it be returned to you." He spoke with absolute confidence, as if he was the one who made all the rules of the underworld. I lowered my head. This damn guy, wasn't he just relying on his seniority? I was just about to explode when suddenly a commotion erupted outside Fenglu Temple. A little ghost responsible for delivering messages came running in. He stumbled through the door, rolling and crawling. His voice was shaking. "Director, the stuff for the human realm has arrived again. This time, it's 999 cargo trucks." The entire Fenglu Temple instantly fell silent. Every ghost's eyes turned toward me. My heart sank. "Qing Shui, you didn't sell our house, did you? 999 trucks full of spirit money. What kind of concept was that?" It meant the entire Western District Patrol Division of the underworld, from the main gate all the way to the backyard, was completely buried. We ghost officers couldn't even find a place to stand. The division chief was a middle-aged ghost with a receding hairline. At this moment, he was sitting on top of the mountain of spirit bills with a miserable expression, one cigarette after another. The cigarettes were specially made, mixed with soul-breaking incense. Even ghosts could use them to relieve stress. The chief suddenly roared, "What exactly is going on? Did your wife rob Yang Jian's washing bed or something?" The chief pointed at my nose. His hand hand was trembling. I lowered my head. I couldn't say a single word because I wanted to know the answer too. Matthew immediately started adding fuel to the fire. A group of ghost officers followed along, shouting, "Chief, we can't just let this go. Shen Mo has seriously disrupted the public order of the underworld. He must be punished." "Exactly. We can't even do our jobs anymore. Deduct his merit points. Send him to Wangzi City to sweep the streets." The entire hall was filled with voices. "Enough. Stop arguing," the chief finally shouted. Everyone fell silent. He looked at me and sighed. "I know you just arrived here. There are many rules you don't understand yet, but you need to figure out a way to make your wife stop burning money. If this continues, forget about our Western District. The entire financial system of the underworld will collapse because of her." I gave a bitter smile. Right now, I'm only a 7th rank ghost officer. I don't even have the qualifications to send my wife a dream. And that was the truth. In the underworld, if a ghost wanted to interfere with a human world, even something as simple as appearing in someone's dream, it required a massive amount of merit and spiritual power. And me, a newly dead ghost who had only been here for a few days, I had nothing. The division chief took another deep drag from his soul-breaking incense. He looked like he was about to lose all the hair on his head from stress. What kind of situation is this? Just as he finished speaking, suddenly, a ghost general wearing black armor charged into the patrol division. He was riding an ancient horse covered in burning blue flames. The moment the ghost general arrived, his voice shook the entire hall. "All ghost officers, listen." Every ghost present, including the division chief, dropped to their knees with a loud thud. I immediately followed. My heart was pounding. No way. Did this situation really alarm a ghost general? The ghost general flipped off his horse. His eyes swept across the entire room like lightning. Then, without hesitation, he walked straight toward me. The killing aura surrounding him was so intense that I could barely breathe. He looked me up and down. Then suddenly, he dropped to one knee and respectfully cupped his fists. "Lord Shen, His Excellency the King of Hell requests your presence at the Hall of Hell." The Hall of Hell. I had only heard about it in legends and myths. I never imagined that a newly dead ghost like me, a ghost who had only been here for 7 days, would actually be carried there in an 8-man sedan chair. The ghost general leading the way treated me with extreme respect, calling me Lord Shen again and again. It made my entire body feel uncomfortable. After passing through the dark and gloomy corridors, I was brought into a room, but the scene inside completely stunned me. It looked almost exactly like a modern office. In the center of the room, a middle-aged man wearing a black suit sat there. His expression was serious, and he was staring anxiously at a computer screen in front of him. On the screen, there was a stock market chart. If it wasn't for the crown of the King of Hell on his head, I would have thought I had walked into Wall Street. The ghost general lowered his voice and announced, "Your Majesty, Lord Shen has arrived." The King of Hell suddenly raised his head. The moment he saw me, his eyes instantly lit up. He rushed over in one step. Then he tightly grabbed my hand. He looked more excited than someone meeting an old friend after years apart. "Brother, you're finally here, brother." I froze. Brother? Wasn't the seniority a little messed up here? King of Hell, you don't have to be so polite. Just call me Old Chin. The King of Hell, or rather Old Chin, pulled me onto the sofa. Then he personally poured me a cup of tea. Inside the teacup, a black mist floated around. It looked like ghostly energy. The smell alone was strangely powerful. Old Chin rubbed his hands together. His expression became a little awkward. "That, Brother Shen, your wife's name is Lin King Sui, right?" "Yes." "What kind of work does she do?" "She runs her own flower shop." Old Chin suddenly took a sharp breath. The way he looked at me became even more respectful. "She owns a flower shop." Terrifying. I was speechless. Then he pointed toward the computer screen. The expression on his face was full of helplessness. "Brother, take a look. This is the underworld currency exchange rate from the past 3 days. It's almost turned into a straight line." I looked at the screen. Sure enough, the entire graph had collapsed because the amount of money your wife burned down here was simply too huge. It severely impacted the internal financial market of the underworld. It caused massive inflation. Right now, even a bowl of Mengpo soup has gone from 10 spirit bills to 100. The little ghosts below are complaining non-stop. Some of them are almost ready to rebel. I listened in complete confusion. So, the economy of the underworld was actually this fragile? Old Chin sighed. Then he opened a drawer. He took out a wrinkled pack of cigarettes. He handed one to me. I looked at it. It was actually a cigarette from the human world. "Here, have one." I waved my hand. I didn't smoke. He lit one himself, then took a deep drag. Only after that did he continue. "Brother, I won't waste time beating around the bush. The money your wife earned down here, we don't dare touch it. All of it has already been deposited into the underworld central bank, but right now, the underworld's finances are having some trouble circulating." He looked at me. His expression was unusually sincere. "Could you lend us some first? Consider it a special national loan issued by the underworld. As for the interest, we can negotiate. It will definitely be higher than the banks in the human world." I was completely stunned. The King of Hell was asking me for a loan? If this news got out, the entire underworld would explode. I looked at Old Chin's face. He looked like he was about to cry. Then suddenly, Instantly, I thought of Matthew's arrogant expression, that smug attitude of his. A thought slowly formed in my mind. I cleared my throat, then leaned back on the sofa, crossed my legs. Lending money. It's not impossible. But I have one condition. Old Chin's eyes immediately lit up. You name it. Don't say one condition. Even 100 conditions are fine. I smiled, then slowly said 3 words. I want authority. I want the authority to see the human world anytime, and the ability to send dreams to my wife. Old Chin froze. The next second, he slapped his thigh. That's all? What kind of condition is that? He picked up the phone on the desk, dialed a number. Hello, Human Resources Department? This is Qin Guangwang. Immediately appoint Shen Mo as a first-rank inspector of the Yin-Yang Division. Yes, right now. Immediately. After hanging up, he looked at me with a smile. Brother, what do you think of this position? A first-rank official of the Yin-Yang Division. I felt like I was dreaming. 3 days ago, I was still a newly appointed ghost officer, being mocked and bullied by my co-workers. 3 days later, I became the honored guest of the King of Hell. A single step, and I had reached the top. And all of this was only because I had a wife who loved me so much. She loved me to the point of madness. Qing Shui, wait for me. When I returned to the Western District Patrol Division, wearing the black official robe with golden patterns of a first-rank officer, the entire government office exploded. The division chief was the first one to rush out. The moment he saw my outfit, his legs almost gave out. Lord Shen. His voice was trembling. On that Mediterranean bald head of his, a layer of cold sweat appeared just a moment ago. Wasn't he still calling me Shen Mo? I put my hands behind my back. I imitated the posture of a high-ranking official, then calmly hummed, Chief, there's no need to be so polite. The chief immediately lowered his head. Yes, Lord Shen. Meanwhile, Matthew was standing in the courtyard with a group of followers. He was watching the scene like it was entertainment, but when he saw me, his eyes nearly popped out. The cigarette in his mouth fell directly to the ground. Shh. Shen Mo. Where did you steal that outfit from? He clearly still couldn't accept reality. I didn't even look at him. I walked straight toward the division chief. Chief, the King of Hell has given an order. I am to thoroughly investigate the financial disorder in the underworld. All accounts are to be sealed immediately. They will be transferred to the Yin-Yang Division for handling. Also, I suspect someone has used their position to embezzle ghost officers' salaries, abuse their authority, and bully their colleagues. I turned my eyes toward Matthew. Matthew, you are suspended. Come with my guards. The moment my voice fell, 2 ghost generals standing behind me stepped forward. Both were over 2 meters tall, with terrifying fangs and a powerful aura. They grabbed Matthew from both sides. Matthew's face instantly turned pale. No, I didn't. He's framing me. He's falsely accusing me. He struggled desperately, like a dog caught by the throat. I'm innocent. Chief, save me. Chief. The division chief trembled. His head shook like a wave. No. Lord Shen sees everything clearly. This subordinate, knowing nothing. What a perfect escape. I let out a cold laugh. Then I walked in front of Matthew. I bent down. Using a voice only the 2 of us could hear, I said, being a ghost and being human are the same. You need to know how to read the situation. Now, my ability to read the situation is good enough. I returned every insult he had thrown at me before, word for word, without changing a single thing. Matthew's body began trembling violently. His eyes were filled with fear and despair. I was wrong, Lord Shen. I was really wrong. Please let me go. It's too late. Take him away. Interrogate him thoroughly. I waved my hand. The ghost generals dragged Matthew away. His body was limp like mud. His cries slowly disappeared outside the government office. The surrounding ghost officers stood frozen. Not a single one dared to make a sound. So this was the taste of power? I ignored them completely. I walked straight into the office that had been prepared specifically for me. After becoming an inspector of the Yin-Yang Division, I gained one of the most important authorities. A huge crystal stood in the center of the room. Inside this crystal, everything in the human world could appear. I took a deep breath, then injected my ghost energy into the crystal. The surface of the crystal began to ripple. Slowly, the image became clearer. A familiar figure appeared in front of me. My home. Qing Sui was sitting on the sofa. She was wearing my old t-shirt. In her arms, she held our wedding photo. She had lost so much weight. The cheeks that were once rosy and full of life were now only pale and thin. The coffee table was covered with all kinds of paper money and golden ingots. There were also paper houses and paper cars. Things she had personally made for me. Idiot, you drew these so badly. My heart felt like it was being grabbed tightly by an invisible hand. The pain was unbearable. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Qing Sui immediately stood up. She carefully looked through the peephole. The moment she saw who was outside, her body clearly shook, but she didn't open the door. Then, a sharp and unpleasant woman's voice came from outside. Li Qingxuan, open the door. I know you're inside. Don't think hiding like a coward will solve anything. This house belongs to my family. You're just an outsider. What right do you have to stay here? My fists instantly tightened. My nails dug into my palm. This woman was my father's older sister. Ever since I was young, she had always been sharp-tongued and cruel. She was extremely materialistic. When I was alive, she came to our house every day trying to flatter me. But the moment I died, she finally revealed her true face. A beast hiding behind a smile. Then another voice came from outside. A young man. His tone was full of impatience. Sister-in-law, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a punishment. My mom is right. This house was my cousin's property before marriage. You have no share in it. Hurry up and get out. This person was my cousin. His name was Li Fei. A useless guy who did nothing all day. A spoiled waste raised by his mother. A bunch of animals. My eyes turned red. I wished I could rush out of the underworld right now. Tear apart this mother and son pair. Inside the crystal, Qing Shui pressed herself against the door. Tears silently rolled down her face. She picked up her phone, her hands trembling. She dialed a number. Check. Someone is trying to force their way in. Before the person on the phone could finish speaking, a violent crashing sound came from outside the door. They were breaking the door down. Still refusing to open? You worthless piece of trash. Today, I'm throwing you out no matter what. Aunt Shen's curses were sharp like fingernails scraping across glass. Every word stabbed into my ears. Then Li Fei's furious shouting mixed in. Lin Qing Shui, if you don't open the door right now, I'll break in and cripple your legs. Every single impact felt like a heavy hammer smashing directly into my heart. Inside the water mirror, Qing Shui was curled up behind the door. Her tiny body trembled like a fallen leaf in the wind. She bit her lips tightly, trying her best not to cry, but the tears had already covered her face. Don't be afraid, Qing Shui. Don't be afraid. I screamed at the water mirror silently, but my voice could never reach her. I could only watch helplessly. That wooden door, the same door we chose together, under the violent impacts, started to bend and deform. Wood chips around the lock kept falling. Anger and helplessness, like two poisonous snakes, were crazily tearing at my heart. I am a first-rank official now. So what? I am the highest authority of the underworld. So what? I still couldn't protect my own wife. Calm down, Shenmo. You have to calm down. I forced myself to close my eyes and take a deep breath. Anger couldn't solve anything. Right now, I was an inspector of the yin-yang division. I must have a way. I suddenly opened my eyes, then rushed out of my office, straight toward the underworld's hidden scripture pavilion. This place stored all the ancient records and forbidden texts since the establishment of the underworld. I had to find any method that would allow a ghost to interfere with the human world. The old man guarding the hidden scripture pavilion had a long white beard. He looked half asleep, but the moment he saw my first-rank official robe, his entire expression changed. I want every record related to the connection between the yin and yang worlds. Immediately. Right now. Yes, yes, yes. Lord, this way please. The old man didn't dare hesitate. He quickly led me deep into the scripture pavilion. In front of a row of ancient bookshelves covered in dust, he took down a thick ancient book wrapped in beast skin. All forbidden texts are stored here. I immediately grabbed the book and started flipping through the pages. The words written inside were made with blood. A cold and terrifying aura spread from the pages. I scanned through them quickly. Blood returned to the living. Body possession and rebirth. Ghost soldiers crossing into the human world. Every forbidden technique had an unimaginable price. Either thousands of years of cultivation would be destroyed, or countless souls were required as a sacrifice. None of these methods I could use. Could it be there was really no way? My heart slowly sank. Just when I was about to give up, my fingers touched something hidden between the pages. A small piece of paper, pressed inside the gap of the book. I carefully pulled it out. There were only a few lines written on it. With endless merit and golden light, one may temporarily reshape the ghost body, stand before the living world once more. However, when the golden light is exhausted, the soul will suffer damage. I froze. Merit, golden light? What was that? Then I suddenly remembered. No, this was the legendary manifestation of merit. Merit, golden light, was a blessing granted by the heavenly Tao. Only those who had performed great acts of kindness while alive could receive it after death. It is 10,000 times more precious than merit itself. You died while saving someone. You definitely have merit within your soul. But this thing, is the foundation for your future journey through reincarnation. Once you use it, you are basically destroying your own future. I stared at the words written on the paper. Then I remembered Qing Shui's tear-covered face inside the water mirror. If I couldn't even protect my own wife, then what was the point of that so-called future? What was the point of reincarnation? Tell me how to use it. My voice wasn't loud, but it carried an unquestionable determination. The old man was frightened by my gaze. He stammered, Just guide the golden light. Then silently think of the name of the person you want to protect. That's all. Before he could finish speaking, I turned around and rushed out of the hidden scripture pavilion. I returned to my office. Inside the crystal, the door was already on the verge of collapsing. Then, a loud crash. The lock was completely broken. Aunt Shen and Li Fei, along with two large men covered in fierce expressions, rushed inside with cruel smiles. Lin Qing Shui, let's see where you can run now. Qing Qingshu screamed. She desperately backed away. I watched everything through the water mirror. My eyes turned cold. I'll make sure you can never be reborn. I'll make you regret this for eternity. I no longer hesitated. I sat down cross-legged, closed my eyes, and gathered every bit of my concentration. Very quickly, I saw something deep inside my soul. A golden light was slowly awakening.